Good morning. Figure out how to use this. Oh yeah, got it. All right. And I have technical systems here. It's going to get me into my slideshow. All right, my name is Witt, and I'm not going to talk about mobile technology, but I am going to talk about a concept that's all-encompassing as a sort of a foundational concept for engaging youth that at Premise we call entertaining the senses to build authentic connections with youth. And we sort of hold the belief that companies and organizations are seeking to entertain the senses in order to break through all the advertising clutter out there, really break through the noise and build more authentic connections with youth. When I'm actually just sort of new to the whole health and education sort of industry, but when I think of health-related issues, it's health-related initiatives. It's often about teaching, not preaching, and inspiring a call to action. Yet the challenge is that not everybody learns the same. And so, in our experience, we've learned that campaigns that engage all different types of learners learning styles improve their rates of success. So, we use the premise in our immersive approach kind of goes off of the VARC learning style, which is the auditory learners that are based on hearing, the visual learners based on seeing, and the kinesthetic that like to get involved in activities, move around, and then very closely related is the tactile learning, like to touch and hold things and product sampling and so forth. So what kind of learners are youth and sort of what kind of learners are all of you? There's the auditory learner. If you think back when your parents told you not to touch the stove, for many of you, because it's hot, many of you that was enough, and you just simply didn't touch the stove. If you're more of a visual learner, you might have waited until you saw your friend touch it, or your brother or sister, and that was enough for you. But if you're the kinesthetic and the tactual learner, you burnt your hand. And you learn, but everyone learns differently. So I find it really interesting, this is a bit of research on performance learning systems, and honestly, if you bug me after this, I can tell you the size of their sampling, but it's large, and it's not just youth focused, it's the whole population, primarily the United States. But according to performance learning systems, you can see that the auditory and the visual, the more traditional types of advertising and marketing are about half the pie. But then the key insight that I see, and from our experience with working in youth, that over half the population are experiencing their learning and their thinking from experiencing, holding something, being involved in an activity. So just sending messages that are visual and audio isn't enough. So that means that our marketing approaches need to be engaging to reach half of our population. So the next thing I'll do is I'm going to go through an example of a case study that's just launched 30 days ago with the Partnership for a Drug-Free America. I find that this one's interesting because it's related to educating, it's very youth-focused, and it doesn't necessarily have the largest budget, so it's not so pie in the sky like something that all of you can't do or apply with small, medium-sized budgets. And the Partnership for a Drug-Free America, I'm sure most of you have heard of them, but they primarily focus on adult or parent-focused initiatives in education and advertising. So when they embarked on doing the youth education platform in 2008, we were charged with partnering to develop the education program that targeted 15 to 19-year-olds. And really their whole objective is not necessarily to stop people from doing drugs. It's just a reduction program. And really, primary objective was, they said to us, just if you can help us get them to talk with our national facilitators, we'll be successful. And their original vision was basically they were very excited to model something after their Math 360 program, which is PowerPoint. And they said, well, you know, we know that you guys are going to do such a great job at creating a really cool presentation that's going to go into these classrooms and or wherever they're going to go, community centers, and it's going to get them to listen. And we said, okay, yeah, are we able to change that? They're saying the only mandate that we have is you have to have a presentation. So we're open to hear anything. We're fortunate to that because PowerPoint is not the most effective way to engage youth. So our solution was to develop an engaging or immersive program for all types of learners. We call it RECT. Tying into the only thing they have that's youth-centric was checkyourself.com, a site that's evolving. But the idea of rec ed and rec education for the adult facilitators who have to go out and do this. And again, a mandate was make this thing easy for facilitators. This is totally in a box. There's no trained pro that goes out and does this thing. You got to deliver it, download your information, and go out and do it. So, rec ed, what is it all about? Well, the grant mandated that we have a presentation. So we were able to create a 10-minute video. Youth attention span, 10 minutes even seems kind of long when you actually watch the video. We created a very cool video, but we said, how are we going to create a video? Because everyone that's ever got drug education sees a video and it's like, wah, 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 no one wants to hear another video. And so we figured what we're going to do is we're going to make it really cool, we're going to have cool examples, but we're going to partner with intervention because with A&E's intervention, kids are into it. It's a little hardcore, the intervention material. So we also did some acting in the studio and created some more subtleties around drug, getting kicked off the football team, putting a bag of Coke on the cash register, and when you're pulling out your money to buy something, and reenacting some other things that are a little more subtle of the embarrassments of things, if you're abusing drugs. So can't show the video, not enough time, but anyways, it was pretty interesting. They watched the video, but then we get done and we have an interactive card game. So the facilitator, not the dealer, starts off with this card, they have these scenario cards, and they're basically very, kinds of scenarios that you would encounter in real life. It's a school night, and your parents have gone out and left you and your older brother home alone. Your brother has some friends over, they're hanging out in his room. You go in his room, they discover they're smoking weed. He asks if you want to smoke with them. So what happens is this is done with about 7 to 10 people. We've done it with larger groups. You can break them up. But you have this interactive game. They choose a card, and it is either a wrecked card, a checked card, or an intervention card. And their only requirement is to end the scenario. If they got a wrecked card, they got to end the scenario and talk about how they got wrecked and how that wasn't a really good idea to smoke the weed, take the Oxycontin, do the heroin, get really wasted, whatever it was. So, but if you checked yourself, you get to talk about how you checked yourself and how you took care of things and blah blah blah, and then the story's going on. And we don't encourage anyone to say anything that's real, or they can do anything they want, peer to peer on their terms. But you get the intervention card, that's like your free pass. You talk about how your friends did a little intervention there, your family did an intervention, and you got a free pass, you can keep going. You get wrecked, you're done, you're out of the game. You get checked, you stay in the game. You get the point. Pretty simple, and it works off of a custom card, or the facilitator can do it with a regular card. Pretty simple, not too expensive. The results are, you actually have to end the game and tell everyone they gotta go, because I've talked alpha, beta kids, every type of personality keeps talking about this game. They don't stop talking, and it's so much easier for the facilitator to have something like this where they get that open dialogue. We've only been doing this for 30 days, but in the research stage of this, people felt comfortable. And in the research stage, when we actually asked them, some people were telling real stories, some people were telling fake stories that they're having fun with, but we got them to talk about it, and at the most, that's really the best you can hope when you're educating teens that really sometimes are quite cynical. Some other results are it's very easy. Now, I'm not talking about technology at all, so that's why I kind of had fun coming up here and not talking too much about technology, but